Hello, everyone. Just 1 minute, please. Hello, Przemek. Can you hear me? Can you start your audio?
Oh, Robert, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Perfect.
Thank you. So
Thank
we
you.
will wait just 1 or 2 minutes for everyone to join. There were plenty of registrants. So almost 2 o'clock sharp. Just give us a few seconds. Thanks.
Thank you, Robert. So, hello, good afternoon here in Central Europe time zone, everybody. We'll just give a few seconds to the others to join the webinar. I hope you're looking forward to the news in Easy Redmine, Easy Project. We have 2 p.m., but people are still joining, so we will just give them a few other seconds. Yeah, and I believe that we can start the meeting. People will join during it. So one more time, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our webinar titled What's New in the New Easy Redmine and Easy Project 13. And thank you all for spending your time with us. My name is Premek. I'm Senior Account Manager here at Easy Software, and I'll be your host. And today I have with me my colleague Robert Kovacic, who's been part of our company for over 10 years, and he's a long-standing member of a QA and product teams. So he's definitely one of the most qualified people to inform you what's new in our software. So hello, Robert.
Hello, Przemek, and nice to see some of the names that I have been talking with in my starts with Easy Software. I saw in the register, so looking forward to talking to you at least this way.
Yeah, thank you for this addition. And to make this webinar more interactive, please let us know where you are joining us from in the chat. You can find the chat on the toolbar of this meeting, and we will use this opportunity also to wait for the others to join. So feel free to let us know. Let's give it a minute. And since I'm not so skilled in geography, I would appreciate if you can not only mention the city, but also the country. So I really know the answer.
And there are, of course, no wrong answers. So if you write from the porch with the overview of the ocean, we'll still be kind of envious, but of course, happy for you.
Yeah. Before receiving some answers, I can see German, Italy, UK, US, Iceland, Hungary, Argentina. Yeah.
Nice.
That's cool. Because thank
Very
you for those
diverse.
answers. Yeah. As far as I know, we have clients in around like 80 countries. So what I can see there is that you really come in from or everywhere around the world. So thank you for your answers. Let's see again, great, Italy. Yeah. Thank you for joining us. I think that's all. Thank you for this, let's say, warm up. And now we are going to disable this chat. And I kindly ask you if you want to post any questions or comments, use the Q&A section, which you can again find on the toolbar of this meeting. We will touch them later. So thank you one more time for participating in this warm up. And now let's explore what the new version has in store. Easy Redmine and Easy Project combine perfectly project management and work management in extremely customizable and user-friendly environment. With the new version, we are introducing a final design that we've been iterating for the past few years. And as the best open source alternative to the Jira stack, we are bringing you the most authentic and precise representation of Scrum principles within a piece of software. So I'm excited that we can introduce the new version to you. And now let's outline the agenda for today. So it's very simple because we have basically 4 points. Is the version 13 summary, then changes and features in version 13. We will touch the upgrade process, and of course, there will be a Q&A section at the end of the meeting, and just a short reminder that you can definitely use the Q&A section on the toolbar. So let's start with the presentation. Robert will lead you through this part, and I'm handing it over to him. So Robert, stage is yours.
Thank you, Przemek. I was very much looking forward to talking to all of you today. From the start, just to explain why do we have to do this whole circus with the major versions every year. It practically allows us to make some leaps in technology or whatever part of the stack that provide to you as a whole product, not just the application itself, but the infrastructure surrounding it, the cloud, on-premise solution, and so forth. That's the reason why some of you have already seen 5, 10, 7, I don't know how many major versions, and it's the same this year. This year, however, we were mostly we just wanted to keep the functional part very similar, and we didn't want to in any way disrupt your work because we had this kind of release in the previous versions. That's why we focused more on the technological part. One of these parts is the Docker, which I will quickly show you that we already have in our supported technologies. There is this note about Docker that it's the stack that we are now getting to supporting fully. Why did we do this? It doesn't change the application behavior that much, but after our research and by many analyses, it will make, for example, the cloud solution much more stable due to the nature of the Docker itself. I won't want to bore you with the technical details, but it was done with the stability in mind. There were previously number of almost random incidents which are practically eliminated by implementing Docker to our cloud. As for server solution, implementing Docker, using it as the primary way of hosting will incomparably simplify the upgrade process, the installation process, etc. So this is not yet ready with the first version of 13, which is released almost just now. It will be later this year, but you will see the benefits, and it's not just for our sake that we want to play around with technology. It's for the sake of the users, your users, or you as administrators, and to bring the value to your company since you invested in the software. So the other changes in this major version is a UI UX optimization. You may have heard this phrase a lot, but there is a good reason why it's used, and we didn't just want to focus on the design itself. We wanted to focus on how the users are, how it helps the users. It's not just about pretty icons and pretty design. I will show you more, of course, very soon about the specific changes. Furthermore, we of course have more changes which are listed standardly in the release notes, which you may have already seen them. You may check them after this. It contains a little bit more deeper explanation of the changes. So we won't have time to go through everything in this webinar, but there are changes that we tried not to disrupt any current work, but try to bring something new, something that will help you streamline your cooperation with your teams even further. So, okay, brief intro summary, but now I would like to go to the specifics. Before I do so, I would just like to ask you one simple question by starting a poll. Just give me a second, please, because yes. I will just ask you about your favorite feature. You will spend maximum 10 seconds on it. Here you go. Please, it's a multiple answer question. Again, there are no incorrect answers. So please let us know what you work with most, what you like the most. Based on this, we can prepare our roadmap, our future minor versions of 13. Possibly, we can find ways to optimize your favorite features. So it looks to be building nicely. Okay, thank you for being so engaged. It's really heartwarming for me. So yes, it looks like day-to-day task operations are the most often. We have it the same in our part, and of course the project features follow right on. I will stop the poll so that you can hear me talk more, and then I can jump to the specific changes. So thank you for all those participated. You can take a look at the results just to see how it spread. By looking at the day-to-day task management, it's just quite clear that this is a application that works that helps the users work in their daily life, which means that in sum it can save a lot of time when you count it per month and per year. So this is actually one part which was upgraded by the design change. So again, thank you all for participating, and let's go to the details, to the specifics. First, I will have to start with the layout and with the design changes, let's say with the UX changes. So I hope you can see my screen. If you can confirm, Tremek. Thanks. So you can see it looks a bit different, but it doesn't look that much different. There are more specific points. One of the general points is that when you look at any table, for example, we try to make it more compact. We just try to put more important data on one screen without you having to scroll. So these menu items may be a little smaller, the text may be a little smaller somewhere. It's nothing that the Zoom cannot fix if you need it. But we just wanted to put more useful information in one screen. One of the biggest changes is the left menu here, which spreads to the bottom instead of previously to the side. And as you can see, it's more it better fits into the whole page. It's not just a couple of floating items or buttons as it was previously. It's now a solid panel, which makes the application look as a whole, not as just various modules floating around. Another big change or significant change is the top bar, and we try to utilize it much more than it was previously in version 12 and 11 as well. So you can see that there are a few new buttons here. there is a plus button as well, which was floating somewhere down on the right in version 12 and 11. This was due to mobile optimization, but you know, we are in desktop, so we don't need mobile optimization for the plus button. And these other buttons here used to be in a hard-coded service panel in the right side. We identified that the service bar on the right panel was just excessive. It was unnecessary, and we did have a lot of free space in the top bar, so we added these some of these functional buttons up here. We spread the search. We added a keyboard shortcut for search. You know, it's always available for you. Of course, when you are writing a text in the task comment, for example, the keyboard shortcut is passive, but anytime else, just hit slash and look around. When you find something, you can navigate through the arrows, which we didn't have previously. So again, another useful, really UX feature. It's not just about design; it's about the experience and what you can do with it. Here on the left, we have a brand new feature called Jump to Dashboard. In this place, it's called Select Dashboard because that's what the user does. He goes to select the dashboard, but I will show this to in a little bit more detail just soon after I go through the other design changes. One thing that I was very incredibly happy with is the toggling of dark mode directly inline live in your application. This is actually one of the technological changes we couldn't do in a minor version. It required a lot of bigger changes. It required some preparation in a lot of places. So this is one of the reasons why it's important to release major versions so we can do tweaks like this one. Very happy to see it. I was looking forward to it when we first released it to our internal system. So I hope you will enjoy it just as I will, just as I am doing right now. Let's go to a task detail, which you know, the day-to-day task tracking is, as you mentioned, as most of you mentioned, is what you are using it and is one of the favorite ones. So in version 12, we changed the update form. We made it a lot more modern. Now in version 13, we've changed also the task detail. You can see that it's a bit more compact, which is in relation to what I said before. But for example, the native fields contain icons, so you have some visual representation. You know better to look. Of course, even when you collapse them, you know these four big ones, the major ones. The sidebar has also been made a little bit more, say, compact. You can see the color of the button changed, which is a global change in the application, but we just figured that the green color that was in some buttons was just unnecessary and kind of broken the feeling of let's say unification in the app. So the blue colors in the button on task detail, but you will find it in also on other places. So this was the task. You will work with it a lot, and you will find out whatever is better for you. And if you have any feedback, we of course have a lot of minor versions where we can work with your feedback. Finally, another big change which is part of the major version is the icon set. We previously had various icon sets. One of them was material icons from Google. Then there were some custom ones, and then there was some coming from Vanilla Redmine, for example. So we just needed to make this decision to unify them. They are from a different icon set, Nucleo, if someone is interested. And the part that is important for the user is that they are lighter. They are not full as the previous icons. They are it's a different type. I forgot the exact name. The icons take effect, for example, in the main menu or in the left menu. This can be also configured in the user type. Some of you who are working as administrators know about it, but it also takes effect in, for example, trend widgets, which we have on the dashboards. So this icon selection has been changed. You may find some duplicate icons, which is for the reason that we want to migrate as many of the icons that you previously had in the older versions, and we wanted to migrate them to this new version. So as many of them will not be changed. They will just look a little bit different, but they should be changed to their respective, let's say, cousin in this new icon set. So this was the design. You will find probably much more changes, but it's not possible to go through all of them now. So let's take a closer look at the jump to dashboard feature. Now, you are already users of the application, and once you get the upgrade, you will open the module, let's say, or the search, and you won't find any of the favorites there because the favorite dashboard feature didn't exist in your current version. So what you will do is that you can click on the show all custom dashboards. You will be directed to the place where the custom dashboards are all gathered, and then of course which of them you use you can mark as favorite. And yeah, I didn't even have to refresh. So right now, after I marked as favorite, they will jump or they will be shown every time I click to this place. Previously, this feature was just missing it. If you created a new custom page, sorry, a custom dashboard, it would have the link, but it would not be shown anywhere. Only administrators would be able to see it in this list, but in a different list. This one is visible also for non-admins. So it would be hard to present the dashboard to your users. Right now, the user who has permission to view custom dashboards will be able to see this control, and they will be able to check their dashboards, make them favorite, and see them directly. And even if you don't have any dashboard set as favorite, you can still work. You can still use the search. It will search through all of these. So of course, unfavoriting just as simple, and this is practically it. Not that complicated feature, not that groundbreaking, but it just really filled in the gap that we had in previous versions where custom dashboards had to be put somewhere in your browser, for example, or in the left menu to make them accessible to users. So right now, you can unleash the full potential of the dashboards across various processes, across various departments, and put reports to the people who want them. They can set them as favorite, and there you go. Now, I saw more of you check in the previous poll that you like or that you use Scrum and Kanban boards. So the next topic is going to be focused this way as well. But before I start it, I would just like to put another poll asking you another very simple question with even a fewer options than it was in the previous one. So please take just again 20 seconds to try to answer whether you use Scrum in your organization, or whether you are planning to do it, or whether it's just not possible for you for whatever reason. Okay. it seems again quite spread. And it looks like most of you are at least considering Scrum. It's more than a majority and more than 50%. So I would just like to apologize for the next 7 minutes or so to those for whom Scrum is not suitable. It's a big part of version 13, and we really like to show to everyone who does need it, and even you who don't think it's suitable, maybe there is the possibility that it will change your idea, maybe because you had a different approach to it. Not judging or anything, but please just be patient with us. And even to those who are not using Scrum, of course, the Q&A session at the end of this webinar will be for you as well. So please stay with us. So thank you for all your replies. It's even higher percentage that than the first question. So you can take a look yourselves. It's nice to see many considering Scrum adoption. We were also easy software in this part or in this decision. It used to be a buzzword. It may be even a bigger buzzword right now, but this is what we try to do in our application. We try to make it about the actual delivery, not just about that it's fashionable at the moment. So let's go to it. We have discussed the whole product design of the new Scrum. We have discussed it with an expert from Scrum.org who tried to explain to us some pain points of existing implementations in Scrum in various companies, of course anonymously, but he has seen hundreds of companies using Scrum, and this expert was able to tell us which are the biggest pain points that that he witnessed in these companies. So I will just go quickly through them. Then I will go through I will go through the whole Scrum process in our software to show it to you. So the first issue which our expert has found was that the Scrum board contained too many columns. As you can see in our Scrum boards, we just have to do, which is something wasn't started. We have realization, which is now currently underway, and we have done, which is of course the ultimate goal. We want to have everything done. Just 3 columns. If the Scrum board is split into more columns, it creates something called owning a column, which means that, for example, I'm a tester and I will only work on the parts, on the tasks which are in the column test, and I will just ignore the rest of the board because it's just not a part of my work. The experts told us this is the incorrect approach because you know, the tester will not help the others since he did his job, because he was not kind of he was not forced, or the system didn't explain enough to him that he should help with the other parts as well. So in our Scrum boards, we tackle it really to keep just the 3 columns before work, after work, and you know, working on it, by which the whole team can focus on the work that needs to be done, and the team has to deliver it as a whole, not just as a set of individuals, but the whole team is responsible for this new ticket form. So this is one of the pain points we wanted to tackle. The whole team looks at the same board, and the whole team tries to push the task and everything, or whatever you call it, the work package tries to put it to done column, because only now it's finished. The second pain point is owning in not columns but rows. So let's say the Scrum board could have been or can be set into pipelines by the user who is responsible for it. So one column for John, the other column for Anishka, and etc. etc. So fine, the people have to put it through all of the stages, but they are focused on the part which is assigned to them, which again goes against the Scrum principle that the team delivers as a whole, not as a number of people doing their own work. So how we tackle it is that fine, we have this work package, show list of reported tickets, and every member of the team can do something for it. So let's say fine, we have the code review, so the code is written. I can check it already. I am checking it, and my other colleague can work on some functional feedback. But we are working on the same thing. We are just working on it from different perspectives, and in the end, we will make sure that all of our partial work is finished, which can then practically finish this work package or task or PBI, as it's correctly called. So moving to another pain point, which was also our problem in previous versions, and we don't hide it, is the difficulty of creating new items which are then put into the Scrum. So if we would use the old Scrum in our application, you would be creating tasks and putting them into the sprint. And as you know, the task has many fields. It can be even extended by custom fields. So it may get quite complicated to create tasks and adding them to whichever Scrum part is needed. In this, in the new Scrum boards, we tried to tackle it by just removing the tasks completely. The task exists in a different place. I will show it to you later, but we are just working with the stickers, the notes, just like in real physical notice boards. We are looking at the same part. So to add a little sticky note, fine, just create plus, just click plus and add new one. So fine, working on it. I'm not presenting anything. I'm presenting my work with my team in the places that I work with. But to create it in the Scrum board, to see it here is just by adding through the plus button. Same goes to these big parts called PBIs. I will go to a different view to show it to you just quickly. Just like that. I have a PBI, and I can change the color, which is how I can distinguish it from other parts. I can estimate it, and that's it. It's already there. I don't have to do anything else. I don't have to confirm any special forms, any required fields, etc., etc. So this was one of the bases actually of the new Scrum boards, to make it to make work in it as simple as if you were working with a real physical board. Finally, just one more pain point. Don't worry, now we will go through the positive side. Is the refinement. Refinement, for those who don't know, is splitting some bigger tasks or some bigger work packages. For example, this one with 5 story points. No, sorry, this one is already refined. For example, splitting this one, pay quotation by credit card, it requires a lot of work on a lot of places. So I am on refinement with my team, and I will simply split it. So one part is the payment itself. The other one is, for example, credit card gateway, or whatever we want to do. So splitting is the basis of the refinement, which then boils down the exact chores or work packages that are then deliverable through one sprint. So this is something that we haven't found other softwares to have, and yeah, we are kind of proud of it, because we know from our practice, since we started using it, that this really helps breaking down what the Scrum team is going to do, and it helps them define more properly what the whole team will deliver at the end of the sprint. So this is something we never had before. This is something we have now. So fine, we looked at some specific little features just to summarize the whole Scrum principles as we understood them from deep consultations with our experts. It's about getting it done. It's about finishing what you set up to finish. So making sure that all of these are in the right column and not keeping anything floating around. Now, the approach to Scrum in this in version 13, in this new functionality, is quite different from what you may know and what you may be using. So I will walk you through how the process is meant to work. So firstly, you will find it under this global menu. You will find a new item, Scrum Boards, and there are, let's say, 3 levels or 3 phases in which you can understand by different Scrum rituals. One of them, the first one, is let's say the backlog board. Okay, so we have the specific one for, let's say, a client zone development project where practically the product owner lives or works. The product owner decides what goes into development and what stays and what's maybe completely removed. For example, my test task here. We wanted to make it as much as easy as possible to for the product owner to be able to sort and work with the backlogs. So in this left side, we see the tasks. They are the real tasks in the application which you know and work with regularly. You can prepare this default filter to whatever you need. For example, by certain tracker, or for example, in certain project, whatever you wish. So you will get a set of tasks here, and you will not work directly with the task, but you will be able to transform them into the project backlog item, into product backlog item, into the PBI, which is the entity which is very light, as I explained before, and which you will be working with, or in which the Scrum team will be working with. So since I created this PBI from a task, I can find the task, and whoever is looking at the task, for example, in WBS, there is this connection, and there will be history about what is going on with this product backlog item, where the actual development is happening. So this is how task gets converted into a PBI, which now can be sorted however you wish, which can be filtered in the backlog if you have it large, and which, as you can find here, may or may not be refined. I know that this is very easy. This is just one simple feature, so we will not be refining it. I will put it directly into this backlog, which will then get itself to the actual sprint. So I'm product owner. I am working with this product backlog here. Here are, for example, some user requests from tickets, for example. Here is the refinement place where I'm not sure as a product owner whether it will be easily deliverable. So in the refinement with my Scrum teams, I will find out how easy, and if needed, I will split them. And those that are easy or those that are refined already get into this column. So moving now to the second phase is let's say link between the backlog, the product backlog, which you can see in the left side, and the, let's say, sprint, which will then be actually worked on by the Scrum team. So this is kind of a connection, connecting board, which we are looking right now, by default, you see the refined PBIs because you know that like they are in this form, it's possible to work on them. So these are directly shown. You can, of course, even check the ones which are not refined. And well, if you know that the refinement will be sure after, you can still work with them. They are just to make sure. Now, on the right side, you can see various columns. The first two are representing the current existing sprint. Now I can see at first glance that my whole current sprint is practically done. All of the PBIs are finished, which is a good. So I am actually able to close the sprint and start a new one. I will do it very shortly. So the third column shows that I have something that's prepared for the next sprint because I wasn't able to put it in time for the current sprint to start. That's why there are some things waiting here. So let's not open sprint just yet. Let's go to the specific sprint. You already saw it. So this is it. This is where the team lives. This is where the team works. This is where they are moving the stickers from left to right. I guess I went through a little bit more detail than I wanted to show, but I see some questions. So in order to save your time, I will have to cut it here. We have documentation about these new Scrum boards published already, so you can read through the details. I would just like to repeat that the biggest, let's say, the biggest change in the mindset is that it's not about splitting work to various people or just to visualize many columns or many swim lanes. It's about getting it done. So please remember this when you start trying to adopt this new feature. We have worked with it already a couple of months in practice, and it has an effect on our development as well. A lot more documentation, a lot more videos from the expert himself are available, and we will send you all of the resources you need to work with the Scrum boards. So finally, I will just like to explain how you will get the version 13, and then we will get to your questions. So the upgrade of version 13 to your application is practically automatic from your side, at least when we're talking about the cloud. If you are on current version, if you have regular updates, then you have been informed, and you will be reminded again this week that that starting next week we will be rolling out version 13 to all of your applications. As you saw, there are not that many functional changes, so I hope you have well, I hope it goes smoothly as possible from your users' side, because from the technical side, we worked a couple of months with our DevOps to make sure that there are no issues during the upgrade. So for you on cloud, you will be informed again about the rolling of the new version to your application. As for server clients, you will receive upgrade of your contract, let's say, in your client zone, and you will be able to download the package with version 13 sometime in the beginning of October. You will still also have the option to download version 12, the last version of it. So it will be up to you when you want to go with version 13 to production. You will have both options available. As for if you are using an older version, for version 10 and older, we will be contacting you, cloud server anyway, and we will be contacting you to explain what would be the steps for you to upgrade to this great version. So We are planning to again send some information packages and contact you and try to provide you with much information that you need to have a smooth transition to version 13. So thank you for hearing me out. Now let's hear your questions and answers. And Przemek, let's take a look. Did you screen some of them before?
Yes, so the questions, but I think all of them deserve a comment, not just a short message. So please be so kind and answer them. I sorted them by the upvotes. Of course, we will touch all of them. We have 10 questions right now.
Okay, very well. So Thomas had questions. Plus button with the additional option to select whether you want to add a project. Log time is almost always one additional click. Most often you want to create a new task as projects are not created every day. Okay. This is actually a very, very interesting idea. And yeah, let's put it to our product board. This is, yeah, it makes sense. Thank you, Thomas. It's worth considering. We will definitely, I will make sure that it's put on the product board and to consideration with our colleagues. Thank you. So Patrick has a question. Can you please say again when the Docker-based installation will be available? Patrick, I would love to tell you that it will be like a Christmas present, which is somewhat of a deadline that we have, but still it was a lot easier to prepare it for our cloud because we have it completely under control. So there may be some unforeseen issues which we may have in preparing the proper packages containers for on-premise installation, but we have the internal, well, not anymore internal, but we have the internal deadline for end of the year, and please be patient if it takes us a little longer. We do it for your stability. Thank you for the question. I'm happy that you are looking forward to it as well. So Patrick got another upvote, so he jumped Verena. Is it still possible to share a Scrum board over multiple projects? I mean, this option use tasks for all projects. Yes, good question. This, in fact, is not an issue at all because the Scrum boards are, let's say, have global reach. They are not tied to any project. You can create a Scrum board for production team, Scrum board for design team, etc., and they can always work with any tasks from any project. So you don't have any limitation here. So still having upvotes. So I guess okay. I want to make sure that I don't skip any. How will the page customization look like? Are there any new features? Predefined PDF export template. Thank you, Milan, for the question. As for the exporting options, this is a place where we have to work hardest to optimize it so it looks properly with it looks well with the native browser exports. Since we have too many possible widgets and configurations, there is it would be it would not be possible to comprehend through some hard-coded export without making some concessions. So at the moment, if you find some problematic exports of dashboards, just report them, and we know that we have to optimize it because the dashboards are strong feature when you look at them in the application, but we know that there are some gaps that are in the exports. And from the functional feature, there are no real changes in the dashboards. Actually, it works pretty much the same as before. So Verena has the third FAM. Is the split feature only enabled in the new Scrum board? Yes, it's only in the new feature in the new Scrum board. It's well, it's a native feature for the PBIs. It was one of the parts where I explained that it's hard to create a task due to many fields. So it's one of the pain points, and in the new Scrum, we didn't want to work with tasks. We wanted to work with PBIs for the exact reason you are asking, to be able to do operations, for example, like splitting. Okay, Roman, what about the agile at scale? Yeah. I'm not. I'm sorry, Roman. This would have to be discussed by someone beyond the product team. You are saying also by requirements management, but at the moment, what I showed you and what you will find in the documentation is what we currently have in the new Scrum boards. We are happy that we were able to finish it by the minor version in this form that it's currently, but of course we continue developing, and we'll find out what based on the real user experience of yourselves, for example, we will be able to find out how to continue with its development. So not able to say at the moment, but based on the feedback, we will continue developing. Manuel, what is the main difference between Easy Redmine and Easy Project? Well, I guess Przemek, you have this answer learned more than I do.
Yeah, the answer is pretty clear. Those applications are the same. There is just different marketing for them. In the past, there were different, like design, maybe some features, but nowadays it's the same application, the same core, just for different targets. So the recommended Easy Redmine for you wasn't a bad choice. Easy Project is really the same. So yeah, that's the answer.
And from the product perspective, which I'm a part of, we had some differences between these two products, but it made it complicated to provide a real piece of software in the highest possible quality. We had to split our focus, so we chose the path to have one application, but yeah, as Przemek said, the brand, the marketing is a little bit different, but functionally they are practically the same. So another one from Thomas. Are there any plans to allow changing location of standard attributes in issue form? Location, if by this you mean that you want to change the ordering of them, you don't want status to be first and assignee second, etc. Well, there are no existing plans for it. We know that this kind of feature, we have made a lot of this kind of customizable features, and we know that it takes a lot of. It's not just about some programming a new feature, but it takes a lot of other efforts as well. So at the moment, sorry, we don't have it in the roadmap. You can always change the order of the custom fields, but that was even before version 13. So simple answer is no, but we'll see how big feedback do we get for this, and we are often working based on the feedbacks. We are trying to get much better at it than we were before. Milan, will there be an option to copy all tasks in a given hierarchy and assign them to another assignee with the possibility to change the content in a selected field? I would actually think this is already possible in the application, but you may stumble on some corner case where this operation did not pass. So I'm sorry, this is kind of complicated to explain in theory. So theoretically, it is possible. I don't know, maybe some situation occurred where it didn't pass in your case. So I recommend contacting support, and if you have and if you haven't, well, that's what I can recommend at this moment. If they have if there is a bug suspicion, then of course it will be passed, and try to do what we can.
And I would add that you can definitely contact your account manager and discuss the use case like in more detail, so you can analyze it and provide some solution proposal.
Thanks, Przemek. Alexander, is there a diagram editor back in the CK editor? Can HTML be edited again in the CK editor? Yes, the diagrams are. They exist. They still exist as an add-on. Yeah, it's in fact here, and they can be added to the CK editor as were before. We actually have a new embed link for it, in fact, or yeah, we added a feature for it to be able to show it better, and I'm sorry, I'm not able to answer you now, but we did have some recent change to make this a little bit better. So you can put it into the CK editor. It works there. If you have specific issue, again, support will help you with the specific one. HTML can be edited in the CK editor. We used to have it disabled in some older major version, and based on strong feedback, we added the option to use HTML in the CK editor as well. So you can put paragraphs and whatever allowed HTML tags in the CK editor. So yes, we have it. Enrico asks, we had an interesting user request. Is it possible to show the task of an assignee across all projects in a Gantt style diagram? Not only as a list, yeah. It is an interesting use case, but I'm afraid the Gantt is not equipped for this kind of view. But yeah, I see the point where it would be nice to see the timeline of the user's tasks. So nice feedback, possible to add to the product board, and you can do this via support. For example, you can say I have a you can do these suggestions with support, and we have a channel where we gather them, and we work with these kind of requests.
Robert, I think, for example, the standard resource management gives you this kind of view of the Gantt chart with the hours, of course, but still based on the Gantt chart.
Yes, it does. It's one of the options. There are some specifics required for the task to be shown in resource management, but yeah, it's one of the options, and our consultants may be able to help Enrico with it. So really, thanks for the question. Currently we still have. Milan, will there be some possibilities to depict the milestones in the same row in a Gantt chart? Actual version milestone separated dots, which jeopardizes the outlook. I may not understand exactly if the milestone should be in the same row as oh, maybe I get it. So there is one row which is row representing milestones, and this is how you can easily see in one line the milestones of the project, the phases. Good idea, good point. For the moment, because the tasks are affiliated to milestones functionally, from the functional perspective, we needed some option to be able to actually enforce this belonging to the milestone. We wanted to functionally allow through the Gantt to assign a task to milestone. That's the reason why they have to live separately. But maybe as a view option, some toggle show milestones in one line makes some sense to me. So thanks for the request. If it gets some support on the product board, who knows? Thank you, Milan. And another one, same row in which the task is depicted. Okay, so I maybe answered something else. It would mean that all tasks belonging to the milestone would see it there, but it's something we are able to discuss with the consultants. Maybe it makes sense. Maybe we were just blind to some specific use case which you are aware of. So don't hesitate to talk to us about it if you feel that it's useful. Thanks, Milan. Matthew, any update on Kanban board? Kanban board received update in the last minor versions of V12. So before releasing Scrum boards, we wanted to make sure that the Kanban boards actually have some substitute for the functionality that the new Scrum boards don't have. For example, the new Scrum boards don't allow multiple columns, but this is what can be done in the Kanban boards. So we did some optimizations. You can find it in release notes of version 12.10 or somewhere in the end, near the end of version 12. So you can check it out. It's in the documentation. So there were some, let's say, design adjustments. And last question, currently from Sebastian. So almost last question. Upgrade from 11 to 12 to Docker was almost easy. Will there be possibility to be notified when your Docker image is available? If you are on premises server client, then we are preparing this whole story of server updates, including some information notices about a new version or image with a new version existing. So yes, we are preparing to have this kind of information flow a little bit more native and smoother. And I'm glad you were able to write on Docker, Sebastian. Thank you. Christoph, is it possible to export VBS as a PDF of or image file? WBS has export through the native browser export. So we have the button on the WBS, but it takes you to the browser exporting. If you need some specifics, again, our support will be able to discuss with you. Something may be missing, something may be easier than I can say at this moment. Thank you, Christoph. And thanks everyone for your engaged questions. Happy that you were listening, and sorry for taking a little bit longer, but I like the Scrum boards.
Yeah, thank you, Robert, for the presentation. And of course, thank you all for joining us today and for your engagement. Engagement. And what I wanted to mention that I would like to invite you for the next step, and it's exploring our new features. Let's say in a trial, which you can start today. And the recording of this webinar will soon be available on our website, and you should be emailed about it, so you can watch it again or share it with your colleagues, so you can share all this information. Regarding the upgrade process, you don't need to be worried about. Like Robert mentioned, you've been already contacted, or you will be contacted by our teams. And yeah, if you have any additional questions, so in the future, definitely feel free to contact your account manager or our team via email sales@easysoftware.com. We will come back to you as soon as possible and help you with the question. So I think that's all from us. Robert, do you have anything else to add?
Well, I would like to be able to say hello to Sweden, Hungary, France, and every country, to Iceland as well, to India, to the US, to Germany, etc., etc. Thank you all for joining us and for talking with us here. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you again. Wish you good luck with your projects, and I believe I will see you soon next time in the similar webinar. So have a great rest of the day. Thank you one more time for coming. Thank you, Robert, for joining us. Have a great day.